Welcome back to an exciting YouTube video, and what we're talking about today is the Ibanez RG1120PBZ. So I did a review on the 5320 RG, which is simply amazing. Amazing balls? Amazing. Simply one of the best guitars I've ever played in my life. It is, it's just an amazing guitar, and the tone on that thing is absolutely a beast. Well, I've had a few people ask me if I could get my hands on the premium version of that guitar, and I said, well, if I can get my hands on one, then I will gladly do a review. So with that being said, I set out to get my hands on one. And I thought I'd go a different route. So I didn't want to buy another guitar. I got enough guitars as it is. And so I tried to call Ibanez, see if they'd send me one, and yeah, that didn't go anywhere. So I sent them an email, and of course they never responded. And, they're like, who the hell's this Trace Taylor guy, and why the hell would we send him a guitar? So they wouldn't send me one. But I'm going to tell you now, one day my channel will be big enough and they will be begging me to review their guitars, and I just may not do it. Damn it. But, so I set off and I head off to all of my music stores around here to see if I could get my hands on one, see if I could just borrow one for a day. And I couldn't find one anywhere. And I could find them, but I could only find one without a trim system on it. And I prefer to review guitars with trim systems on it. Because I just like trims. That's just how the hell it is. So I couldn't find one anywhere. So I started making some phone calls to some other stores, and I was looking for the brown one, and I could not find a brown one anywhere. And I thought, well, shit balls, man. I just did not want to buy another damn guitar, and I did not want to buy another Ibanez. So all my searches failed, and I got sad. And the daunting thought of buying another guitar just, oh my God, I just didn't want to do it. And I just got really sad. So I thought, what the hell? Let's buy one more guitar. So just so everybody knows, I'm buying no more Ibanezes. Period. Done buying Ibanezes. So, like I said, I went off to find the brown one, and I could not find a brown one anywhere. All I could find was the Caribbean eyelet. And looking at the pictures of the guitar, I really didn't want that guitar. It just looked a little too Jimmy Buffett for me. But I could not even get an ETA on the brown one, because everybody's using, this COVID as an excuse for whatever to not ship product or whatever it is. I actually had somebody comment to me. He's been trying to buy an EVH Wolfgang, and they won't even give him an ETA, period, on when he can get one. And I talked to a buddy of mine at a guitar store, a big guitar store, and he said that they don't even have any slated till the end of the year. If you haven't watched my video on what's going to happen to EVH, you might want to watch it, because I think my shit's coming true, what I said in that video. So anyway, I digress. Moving on, so I ended up buying the Caribbean Eyelet Ibanez. It is the 1120 PBZ. It is the premium version of the Prestige 5320 that I reviewed, which is absolutely full balls out, shreddable beast of a damn guitar. And pretty cool. Somebody actually bought one off my review. They ordered a lefty one, and they're getting it in July, so good. I'm glad. If these reviews help you all with anything, hell, that makes me happy. So all the people have comments saying that they appreciate the reviews, that it really helped them, and they decided to buy the guitar. I greatly, greatly appreciate that. And that's why I try to do these. And I try to be as honest as I can. I will always say what I do and don't like about it personally. That does not mean that you may not like it. I'm just going to tell you what I do and do not like about it personally. So on that note, let's get cracking. So as usual, I ordered the Ibanez, and it comes in what I like to call the Ibanez sleeping bag. This thing is freaking huge. Not as bad with the RG as it was the S series, but apparently they just make one bag for all guitars, and they made one to fit the Arc Core, which I'm assuming would fit in here pretty good. But even the RG in here, you can see I got all this room. It's like a dead fish in a fat girl's pants. It just does not belong there. So, and I'm tired of complaining about the these freaking gig bags. And I do like gig bags, because when you're carrying several guitars, man, cases are a pain in the ass. It's easier to take these things, throw them over your shoulder, rock on, to the gig. Much easier. So I do like gig bags. I just wish they'd give me a better gig bag than this, Ibanez. If you did that, I would be happy. I don't even have to have a hard shell. I just want a better damn gig bag. Make one made for the guitar that you're sending out. So, let's unzip the sleeping bag, and let's pull out the PBZ 1120 RG in Caribbean Islet. All right, so right off the bat, first thing you're going to notice, it's Caribbean Islet. And like I said, in the pictures, it was very Jimmy Buffett to me. I did not know if I liked the guitar in the pictures, but I got to admit, once I got my hands on it, I kind of like it. It's different from anything that I've had, and I kind of like the colors. It goes from a teal to an aqua, fades into this tan aqua teal. Matching headstock, which I love matching headstocks. I think all guitars should come with them, and anybody who charges you extra for matching headstock, in my opinion, piece of shit. And yeah, I'm talking to you, Sir Guitars. Quit charging $300 for the matching headstock, bro. Guitars are expensive already. So, moving on. Once I got the guitar, I kind of liked the color. Now, I have been fortunate enough that I had this long enough to actually play a show with it. And everybody who knows me, who knows my guitars, everybody liked the guitar. So I don't know. I'm kind of happy with it right now. But with that being said, I've been checking out skins. And I might skin this guitar for a video and how to do it, to put a skin over the guitar to change the appearance. I may do it, I may not. I don't know yet. I have found one in England, and it's seriously cool. And I'm really thinking hard about doing that. But back on to the review. This guitar, the finish is a flat finish. There's no shine. I do like that. I actually like it more than I thought I would. If it had a shine on it, I don't know if I would like it as much. But the way it is now, I got to admit, it's pretty freaking cool. The sides are book matched, as you can tell. Everything on it is matching as it should be. And I'm going to tell you, this is a premium. This is not a prestige. But I am crazy impressed with the quality of this, and I'll get into that in a second. So, why would I get this guitar? If I've got the Prestige and it is already a freaking, just a rocking beast of a guitar, why would I buy this? That's a damn good question. There's actually a couple of things on this guitar that I actually like better than what's on the Prestige. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and talk about what we're looking at here. So, this guitar, it does have a poplar top, as you can see. This is not a binding, this is the actual cap that you're looking at here. It is a basswood or basswood body, however you want to call it. It's a touch lighter than the 5320. I do like the chunkiness of the mahogany on the 5320, but I was kind of dying to see what it sounded like, being that it has the same pickups in it. I expected it to be a touch brighter. We'll get to that in a minute. So, like I said, it is a basswood body. If you can see it or not, this is a very dark satin finish on the back. You can see the wood grain through it. It does look very nice when you see it, but it is super dark, and I actually do kind of like that. It just really sets off well against this guitar. Of course, this does have the RG cut. Love it or hate it, it is what it is. I have a hate-love relationship with the RG cut. Very metal looking on this wing, which I'm a metal guy, so that's cool, but it may not be something for everybody. But the nice thing about it is all this room is it's just tremendous amount of room, and I actually do really kind of like that. And I gotta admit, I was really down on the RGs. When I started playing my Ibanez S series, that was actually the first Ibanez I'd ever owned, and I fell in love with it. And then I got the Prestige 5320, and it just blew my freaking head off because I never really liked this part right here. I gotta admit, man, it's growing on me. I'm kind of liking it now because even my Jimmy Buffett colored guitar still looks metal enough to play metal on. And somebody made the comment about my 5320 that if you're not playing blues on your metal looking guitar, then you might want to reassess. He and I went back and forth on the comments. I kind of misunderstood what he was saying. He was a super nice guy, and he commented back to me, and we got all that squared away, and I was like, okay, bro, I understand what you're saying now. But I think I could do the blues jazz gig on this guitar because of the color palette, my Jimmy Buffett metal guitar, something I never thought I would ever say in this world. So moving on, of course, we got the standard cutaways here. You got the rib cut, and you do have the forearm cut. I do wish the edge was maybe a little softer. It's actually kind of a sharp edge. And even though I play the guitar, my arm doesn't really rest on the cut here. It rests more here on the edge, and that's kind of a pisser for me. But that's just my playing style from playing the EVHs for so long. I may have to do a little, readjusting or moving shit around to make it work for me. Moving on, it does have the standard fare on the Ibanez Kill cut, which I do like. Personally, I wish it was just a little thinner. But again, that goes to my wish list of the perfect guitar, which nobody makes. But I do like it. It is comfortable, and you do have you get really good access up to the 24th fret, so it does work out very, very well there. Moving on to the neck. All right, this is a standard premium neck. This is a 15.7 degree radius. It is very shreddable. It is not the 16.9 that is on its bigger brother, the Prestige. Personally, I'm good either way. What I do like about this guitar, though, is we're sitting at about 21 millimeters right here at the 12th fret, as opposed to the 19 on the 5320. I do like the little thicker neck a little bit better. This is the Wizard carve, not the Super Wizard carve. I do like the Wizard carve a little better than the Super Wizard that comes on the Prestige. A little more comfortable neck for me. I'm so used to the EVH carve that when I got that S-Series guitar, I mean, I struggled coming across to that because I was so used. And of course, this is a taller neck than what EVH uses on his guitars. But moving on, the neck. This is a satin finish. I do wish it was just bare wood, like on my S-Series guitar. But it is maple, walnut, and purple heart. Very cool looking. It is a beautiful neck. Seems to be incredibly strong. I mean, I've had zero issues in the little time I've had it, and I did play a full 4-hour show with this guitar, so it was it played like a freaking champ. Moving on again, we do have ebony fretboards. I love ebony. Ebony is very snappy, like maple. I really dig ebony, and it looks good. Thank you, Ibanez. They put the dots back in the center, and I love my dots in the center. Really struggled on the S-Series because the dots are so high. Same problem with the 5320. But what the 5320 did do right is they put that white binding on the neck. And they set the Illuma Don't Glow dots right here on the white binding. So when they quit glowing in about 3 minutes, you can still see them very easily. Here, they've got them set in the ebony. So it's going to be a little hard to see in the dark. Luckily, the last show we played, we had a lighting guy there who provided lights for us. And so I had no problems because I never had a dark stage. There was always light on me all the time. So it worked out pretty good at that point. But with the dots being back in the center, I actually had no problems with it. Moving on again, like I said, we got a matching headstock. This does not have locking tuners. I love locking tuners. And I kind of got to thinking about it when I was looking at it. I was like, all right, why would they not put locking tuners on this guitar? Dollar for dollar, it can't cost any more than the S-Series. This does have more expensive pickups and a more expensive switching system, which we'll get into in a minute. But it is a basswood body, which is cheaper wood than what comes on the Ibanez because it is mahogany on the S-Series. And I'm not mahogany, it's mahogany and panga panga. The neck is panga panga on the S-Series. And So dollar for dollar, they should probably cost about the same construction-wise. So I'm not sure why they did not put the locking tuners on this guitar. Even though it does have a locking nut, I still prefer locking tuners because string changes on the fly at a show, it makes it so much easier to do. Before I move on from anything else, this is one thing that I got to mention. When I got this guitar, I did have to do a bit of setup on it. Now, generally, unless you're buying like an EVH or a high-end PRS or something like that, an American EVH, generally you're going to have to do a setup on your guitar. Actually, the only guitars I've never had to set up were EVH guitars that I bought brand new, untouched, out of the box. The ones I've bought off the wall had to have every one of those set up. Because, you know, you got Billy and his freaking peanut butter and jelly greasy ass nasty fingers down there, you know, welling on a guitar, doesn't know what the hell he's doing, knocking it out of tune. And Jesus, I actually bought an EVH guitar. I went to go play it, and I strummed it, and I was like, what the hell? You know, because they have D-tuners on them. Somebody in all their infinite wisdom set an EVH guitar to drop D without using the D-tuner. That just rocks my world. I just can't believe somebody's just actually dumb enough to do something like that. That's what the D-tuner's for. It takes it to drop D, but they physically tuned it from here, which I found, and then locked the damn nut back. And this was at a guitar store. Come on, guys. The nut on this guitar is a touch on the high side. It's got a little too much space right here between at the first fret. Now, 90% of the people in this world probably will not care about that. However, I'm very particular on how my guitars are set up, and I set my own guitars up until it gets serious, and then I send it to my buddy Rick, who's the neck guru. And actually, I learned how to set up the guitar from Rick. This one is a little high. I did a lot of research on that. Apparently, most manufacturers, unless we're buying ultra high-end premium guitars, if push comes to shove, they're always going to set the nut a little higher than a little lower, because that's going to give you a lot of clearance and a lot of sustain. Now, I disagree with that. I think they should set the nut lower and then shim it back up, because that gives us control out of the box on setting the action how we like it. I disagree with how this is done, but apparently this is a very popular thing, and I'm going to say, you know, sub $2,000 guitars. So I have a couple of options here. I can route the neck. That ain't happening, because you screw the neck up, you're done. Or I can adjust the locking nut. So I'm going to have to file this locking nut. Now, luckily, I know how to do this, so I am going to be doing a video on how to adjust this if it is too high. And like I said, most people out there wouldn't care about it. However, I'm pretty damn particular about my guitars. With that being said, the guitar still plays amazing and sounds amazing. But I will have a video coming up on how to do this. So stay tuned for that. Moving on, there's a couple of key points of why I really wanted to buy this guitar, and one of them is this right here. These are the Jescar EVO Gold frets. I have never played these in my life, and I've been dying to check these out. I don't know if you can see in the camera, but the frets are gold, and they are absolutely beautiful frets. They feel exactly like stainless steel. Nickel has a hardness rating of 250. Stainless has a hardness rating of 300. These have a hardness rating of 275, so they're right in the middle. So I'm kind of curious after a year how they're going to wear, but the feeling, they're real buttery smooth, just like stainless is. And the fret job on this guitar happens to be, this is obviously a Monday guitar, because the fret job on this is perfect. It is absolutely perfect, and I've yet to find a dead spot anywhere in the frets. So I feel very fortunate that I got a Monday guitar, not a Friday guitar. But the EVO Gold frets, I absolutely love these. And I like them so much that if I change any of my older guitars over from nickel, instead of going to stainless, I might put a few of these EVOs on them, because they just look badass. They're gold, and they're buttery damn smooth. I played that 4-hour show. At the end of the show, my fingers were not black. So what that means is the frets were not wearing, which is a good thing. So hopefully they hold up. Obviously they're not going to hold as well as stainless, but if you can get, stainless will generally last you a lifetime on your guitar. You may have to do a little dress here and there. If you can get 10 years out of something like this, that's a win-win, because I can only get a couple years out of nickel before I got to start having them crowned and all that stuff. So that's one of the reasons I really want to check this guitar out, because I really want to check out the EVO Gold frets, and it is just it's a win-win. They're beautiful and they play brilliantly. Another thing, this guitar does have the amazing DiMarzio Fusion Edge pickups in it. These things are a freaking beast of a pickup, and as of right now are currently some of my favorite pickups on the market. Before I bought this guitar, I called Ibanez to see if I could, what the deal was with these pickups, and I couldn't get any information out of Ibanez, so I went over to DiMarzio, because DiMarzio will not sell you these pickups. These pickups were made specifically to go in that 5320, and then they stuck them in here. And like I said, Ibanez and DiMarzio got together to make those pickups, and I don't know if they were made for that 5320, but there's no place on this earth that they belong besides that 5320, except maybe this 1120. Alright, so this does have the Ibanez pickups in them, and they are just freaking brilliant. I did expect this to be a little brighter, and just a heads up right now, this is a very long review, because I've got a lot of ground to cover on this. So feel free to skip ahead. Does have the Ibanez Fusion Edge pickups. It does have the Edge 02 bridge on it. I actually like this. I've had a lot of people ask me, is this a good trim system? I got to tell you, I've been welling on my S-Series for quite a while with that trim system on it. I've had zero issues, and I just spent 4 hours at a show beating this thing to death. Zero freaking issues. Is this the Low Pro? No, the Low Pro does feel better under your hand, but the reason I like this better is because I love the 0-point system. When I changed strings and went from the 40 to 9s that were on this guitar, I went to a 46 to 10. All I had to do was crank the wheel right here. Right here. Not here, right here. I just had to crank the wheel to adjust the tension, and I love that. What I really like about it, we'll get to on the when we get to the sound, is it does not warble. I truly like that because of my playing style. It just doesn't accommodate me the way that I play. All right. Whew. Dude, that's a lot of talking. Jesus. I've probably made you guys tired by now. That's a lot of talking. Caffeine-free Diet Coke. It does not taste good. Not even a little bit. But I still drink this shit. So, moving on. Alright, so we covered the body, we covered the neck, we covered the tuners, the fretboard, the EVO Gold frets. Seriously rock it with these. Dude, I love these frets on it. The trim system, the zero system, the colors, the shape, everything. We've covered all that. Another reason I really wanted to check this guitar out, and this is a big one for me. The reason I love EVHs so much, because Eddie Van Halen, besides the fact that he's just an amazing guitar player, he was brilliant in his design. Eddie Van Halen really liked the feel of a Les Paul. So much so that if I pulled out one of my EVHs and stuck it up against this guitar, now granted this has a taller headstock, but my EVH headstock would only come to about right here. Now the headstock's a little shorter, but what Eddie Van Halen did, this is a 25/5 scale. Eddie Van Halen's guitar is also a 25/5 scale, but he likes the way a Les Paul plays, which is a 24.75 scale, shorter neck. What Eddie Van Halen did is he scooted the neck 1 inch into the body and shifted all these controls back. So if you ever play a Wolfgang, feel how short the guitar feels. It feels like a Les Paul lengthwise. But the other thing that he did is he moved the volume and the tone knobs down out of the way, and I love that. And I've gotten so accustomed to playing that way that I simply cannot play a Fender guitar because the tone volume knob is right here. What Ibanez did, and this was a big benefit to me over the 5320, is they took away the tone knob altogether. Because let's be honest, you're not using the damn tone knob anyway. And they moved the volume knob completely out of the way. Now, when I'm playing, it is just nowhere near. I don't hit it at all. And this is brilliant. I wish other guitar companies would do this. Tone knobs are cool if you're doing some hardcore jazz or something. Other than that, let's be honest, you really don't use it a lot. So they just took the damn thing off, and I love that. Simplified the controls, cleaned it up. I absolutely love that. So all we got is a volume, and a volume that is, when we look at the space here, considering that on a Fender, the volume knob is right here. So look at the difference in the space here. Absolutely great idea, Ibanez. Thank you for that. Okay, moving on to the important stuff now. We have got... Let's move on. All right, so 1120 PBZ, DiMarzio pickups in them. DiMarzio, amazing pickups in them. This is what's seriously cool. Another reason I want to check this out. This has called the Dynamix system in it. This actually has 10 voicings as opposed to only 5320, which only has 6 voicings. And I say that only has 6 voicings like that's not enough. I mean, it has 6 voicings, but it has 6 amazing voicings on it. This has 10 voicings, but it has 7 amazing voicings. 3 of them I'm kind of on the fence about. But what they've done is with this Dynamix system, they do have a splitter system just like they do on the 5320. Here is the splitter switch. But what I love about this guitar, the design of this was absolutely fantastic. And actually, I wish the 5320 was wired like this. And you're going to see why. We're going to go to a clean channel here. Get this ball rolling. Jack on the bottom. We all know how much I hate jacks on the bottom. I do wish they would do this like they do on the S series and put that recessed inverted jack in it. That is just brilliant. That way you can put the guitar on your thigh when you're in full badass rock and roll mode, which I try to get into at least once a night, even if I'm sitting here in my house by myself. I try to get in the badass rock and roll mode at least once. All right, so check this out. Okay, this is a jazz amp. We're not going to use this amp, not whatsoever. What we are going to do is we're going to go to my favorite clean channel I have on here. As always, I'm going direct into my Kemper, from my Kemper to my headrush out into the room mics, so you can kind of get an idea of what it sounds like in a room. I do not like doing these things running direct. Oh, and just so, coming up, this is my new Shure SLX D4 wireless. This is the brand new one that just came out. This thing is simply awesome. So I'm going to be doing a review on this after I get done reviewing this thing. This thing's a freaking beast. I love this wireless. This is my 5320 clean channel. It is extremely glad. Look at this. What the hell, man? I'm getting old. I'm losing my soul. This is an extremely glassy channel. I use this channel a lot because, you know, we do play some Def Leppard and stuff like that. And it's just a great channel. When you're doing like some Lita Ford, Close My Eyes Forever between her and Ozzy, it's just a brilliant channel for that stuff. So here we go. We're going to start racking through what the sounds on this guitar. And like I said, this is absolutely just insane what you're getting ready to hear. So what we've got, okay, we are in the down position on the splitter. And we are in position number 1. I'm going to move this a little slow so you understand what is happening here. So here is, this is the rear humbucker. Check this out. Very bright, tinny sounding like a rear humbucker should. All right, now I'm going to go to position 3. Now this is both humbuckers turned on, and it sounds freaking amazing. My trim system, man. This does have a threaded collar on the trim system. Love them or hate them. The 5320's got the press-in one, and I know I said on the 5320, you know, please put a threaded collar on it. I gotta be honest. I'm kind of waffling. Shit, I don't know. I'm kind of going back and forth between the two. Everything just, you know, you start to get a feel for something, it kind of slowly starts changing your mind on how it works. So I'm kind of, do I like threaded collars? Do I not like threaded collars? You know, do I like big overweight women? Do I not like big overweight women? So here we go. This again, double humbuckers is what you just listened to. Okay, now we're going to go to position 5. Now this is the front humbucker, and of course it sounds absolutely, sleeves, freaking amazing. That's a good tone. Man, that's a good tone. These pickups are just, ugh. All right, here's where things start to get a little interesting. Instead of having to flip this up to split my coils, and I absolutely love this, when I go to position 2, what it's doing is it's splitting off the coils. So now I'm playing this coil and this coil. The two center coils are turned off. I love this, and it sounds, oh my God, does this sound good. Check this out. God, that sounds good. Oh my God, that sounds good. And I love how they set the system up. So now when we click up to position 4, it just keeps getting more interesting. Now it turns this coil off, on, off. Now we're playing the two inside coils, and it's a completely different palette of sound. This is just awesome. Check this out. Sounds amazing. And on the 5320, if we're doing something that I need to thin my sound out a little bit from the standard to full double coils, I got to click the switch and move to my position. And then when it comes time to go into badass mode, I got to click this switch down and click down to here. Okay, you know, it's worth the extra step because the guitar just fucking rocks. But on this one, I can leave that switch down and double coil, rear double coil, outside, outside, on, off, on. All 4. Off, on, off. Front double coil. And every sound is unbelievably different. Check this out. This is position 2. You still have a little bit of that spank on top of it from being so close to the bridge, with this really bizarre warmth on top of it, so from being so close to the neck. But you still have that little bit of that glass. And a little more bottom in. And we're running in single coil mode here. Now, when I go to 4, now we lose a little bit of that spank and we lose a little bit of that warmth. Not the warmth, but we lose a little bit of the depth. It's a little more mellow version of the same tone. When we go to the center and we got all 4 on, it's just a much thicker of the two. This was absolutely amazing that Ibanez set this up this way. This I love. Very seldom now on this guitar do I ever even flip that switch. On a 5320, I have to flip the switch to get a particular tone. If I just want a thinner single coil sound on the fly, I can just go to position 2. Get that sound, and it sounds absolutely fantastic. 4, you see a little bit more of that spank on it, just a little bit, just a touch more of the spank you've got on that. And then this is in position 4. And this is in position 4. Absolutely fantastic sounding, and I never had to split the switch off. This was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I liked it so much I would wire every damn guitar up this way if I could, if I knew how the hell they did it, because I broke the back of it open and I looked at the circuit board in there and I was like, piss on that. Not happening. I'm not going to sit there and put all those wires on those contacts that are the size of a freaking pinhead. But absolutely brilliant Ibanez. Oh my God, I love the wiring, this setup in this thing. Okay, so now we're going to switch over to the splitter. Click. All right, so we're going to jump around here a little bit. I'm going to jump from position 1 to position 2. Okay, it gets a little stranger, but still exciting. Now, in position 2, all I'm playing is this coil. On, off, off, off. And it's badass. And again, volume always helps when I do this. Dude, that is just a spanking single coil. I mean, that is just... So, like if we're doing the Police or something like that, that's perfect for that. Absolutely perfect. So now I'm going to jump to position of 4. Now when I go to 4, it only activates this coil. Off, off, on, off. I would think it would activate this coil, but they've set it up here, but it still sounds absolutely freaking amazing. And in a minute, you're going to understand why they did it that way. So here we go again. Off, off, on, off. That sounds... These pickups... Oh my God, that's all I can say. These pickups are simply amazing pickups. It's worth buying this guitar. If you hate Ibanez and you hate RGs and you think they're the shittiest guitar in the world, it's worth buying just for the freaking pickups and the switching systems on these guitars. They are absolutely brilliant how they did it. Okay, now right there, dude, that is a world. That is a plethora of tones. More tones than you need. Could you possibly get more for your money? Well, yes, you can. But unfortunately, I don't know if it's something you need because it's getting ready to get weird. All right, so now when I jump down to position 1, now we're getting into this whole Dynamix thingamabob here. On clean channels, they're okay. On distorted channels, you just have to... All right, let's just move on. So what happens when I go into position 1? It activates this pickup. It's using the bass response out of this pickup. So there's no highs coming out of this side, only lows. Okay, that doesn't sound bad on clean. So listen to the single. Now listen to it with the Dynamix bass thingy kicked in. It's hard to explain what I'm hearing. It's just, you still have that spank with a ton of bottom end. Now in a clean channel, that's incredibly usable. That is very cool. We'll get to the rest in a minute. So now I'm going to jump up to position 4. Now in 4, it turns on this pickup, off, off, with the bass response of this pickup. Check this out. Sounds pretty good. Trust me, it gets more interesting. And I told you it's going to be a long video. We got 10 different sounds to cover over here. All right, so now we're going to move down into the middle position. All right, now this, just listen. On, bass, on, bass. That's just an odd sound to me. It's a very thin, trebly sound, like a single coil would be, with a tremendous amount of bottom end. And I mean tremendous. That's just an odd sound for me. And I'm not sure what to... Sounds good. sounds good, and I can almost see there again, you know, doing like a jazzy piece like that, you know, especially if it did have a tone knob on it. I could see using it for that, and if you're using like a really good jazzy amp. But that's about right now all I can. Let me move on. You'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, we're going to move over to my nasty channel now. We're going to use the same exact channel that we used for the RG5320 so we can compare the tones. Give me a minute to set this up. Alright, we are on my EVH 5153. This is an EL34. This is the same exact channel that I used on the 5320. I expected this to be a little brighter, and it is. So before we get into all the riffage, this thing is absolutely sick sounding, and it's a little brighter than the 5320. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I gotta be honest, it is a good thing. As much as I love that 5320, I love that it's a little more scooped sounding because of the mahogany, and a little warmer because of the mahogany. This is not as scooped sounding, maybe a touch more MIDI, and a touch more bright. And that works well for me because the music that we play is more of an 80s rock metal genre in my band. So this guitar actually suits my tone a little better than the 5320. Now, I'm not saying for all the people who have a 5320, that is an amazing, amazing guitar. And if I was doing a more of a 90s later metal, only guitar I would wield is a 5320. But being what I play, this is just a touch on the board. It's a touch brighter, and you still have all the nasty, all the gain, and you still have all the clarity. It's still incredibly clear, but it sounds absolutely amazing. It's basically, obviously, two different guitars because of the woods, but you have two different flavors of a very similar guitar, and I dig that. You know, if I'm going to go bust down on some new metal, I'm going to pull out my 5320, but if I'm going to step out and do a little more old school stuff, which is what I really get into, I think I'm going to grab the 1120. And that's hard for me to say because that 5320 is... Oh, that guitar is a beast of a guitar. I love, love, love that guitar. But I gotta be honest, I'm kind of really digging on this guitar too. The switching system is phenomenal on this guitar, and I wish they would have put this on the 5320. The EVO gold frets, stainless steel, I love them. And I'm not saying these are better or worse, but dude, the gold looks fantastic. So I've got a couple of things edging me out over the 5320. At the end, we'll kind of talk about the two. And again, very long video, very long video, very long video. So, okay, here we go. We're going to move on and we're going to check out this palette of sounds we got here. We're starting with the rear pickup. Splitter is down. We're on this coil. Here we go. God, that sounds good. You hear that shit? You hear that? Somebody just put a pipe on their car badly. Not too far from the interstate, so a lot of times I hear the people, lack of a better term, people, cruising up and down the road. Man, this is not refreshing at all. Not even a little bit. I'm not really a caffeine guy, so I drink that crap. Anyway, okay, moving on. We're going to go to position 2. On, off, off, on. And it sounds freaking amazing. I love that sound. It's kind of a rounder sound, not quite as gainy. Granted, you're not going to play riffs like that on that setup, but it still sounds very good. Moving on, now we are engaging all 4 coils here. love that sound. When you got these coils on, man, and you're just bombing the hell out of that E, it's just got a growl to it, dude, which is swing. I mean, it's just nasty sounding, and I love trim systems, and that's why I love it. And I gotta tell you, when I'm at a show, man, oh my God. Before we even started the show, I was on my lead channel of this amp, which is a little brighter, a little more MIDI. And before anything even starts, we got the amps and everything cranked, and I come out, you know. Before anything happens, that's the first thing you hear. And it's just cool because it grabs the audience's attention instantly when they do that. When I do that. Well, when anybody does that for that. And that's why I love trims, man. They're badass. Moving on. Okay, now we're going to go into position number 4. Off, on, off. We're on the center 2. Check this out. And I do like that sound. I don't know if I would use it for that type of riff, but I do like that sound. It's still very gainy, but it's a rounder tone. And in Guitar World, we have our vernacular. When I say glassy, when I'm talking about my clean channel, I say it has a glassier tone. It's got those shimmering highs on it, or if you take a good glassy tone and you add a good phase on it, it gives you that watery sound. This has a rounder tone, and when I say rounder tone, I'm kind of thinking of the Fender Strat. When you got the 2 pickups and you got them knocked out of phase, you kind of get that rounder tone. This has a rounder tone. Now, granted, I don't believe these are close enough to pull this out of phase. If they were a little closer and they actually did shift phase, that would be awesome. That would be even more awesome. I don't think they're close enough, but you still get that round tone, and it sounds amazingly good. All right, here is the front pickup. And that still sounds absolutely amazing. I would not play riffs like that on that pickup, but I'm sure a lot of people will. If you don't want that, just that. Listen to that. Yeah. That is just absolutely nastiness, man. Love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, so now let's take this a step further. And again, $1,400. Could you possibly get more for your money? Yes, you can. We are now going to engage, click, said splitter. We are now moving into single coil mode in this weirdo dyno tapo mode thing they got kicking here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this in position number 2. Check this out. Full gain, full balls, full shred. A little bit of noise. I'm not running I don't run my gates very high because when I'm playing a show and I let go of my guitar, they start feeding back instantly. I like my guitars being on that verge of just wild because it makes them very harmonic. So that's why you're hearing this. These are actually very quiet. You hear nothing when I got the guitar muted. When I let off, you're going to hear some noise. So it's not the guitar, that's my settings. Check this out. I thought I heard something there. Here we go. For a single coil, that sounds awesome. That sounds amazing. You could play a metal show on that single coil, and then when you needed to, then just step on your clean channel and go to that spanking ass single. The single coils on these pickups are just divine, absolutely divine. They are heavenly, touched by God. Heavenly sounding. Okay, so we're going to move to position 4. Now we're on this pickup here. It seems logical to me how things work in this universe that it would be this pickup, but for some reason they chose this pickup. So, it's the Marzio and Ibanez. Who the hell am I to argue with the Marzio and Ibanez? Check it out. I wouldn't use it for that type of riff, but it does sound good. I would never use this pickup for that type of riff, but on the clean channels, that pickup by itself is simply brilliant. But to make everything fair so you understand everything that's happening, I'm going to do all the sounds, all the riffs on every single pickup to give you a good idea of the overall tonal characteristics of the guitar. Here is where things get strange. Kind of sound like Lewis Black. Here is where things get strange. Jesus. I'm tired, if you couldn't tell. We're going down to position number 1. All right. We're in split mode. This is up. This pickup's on. This is the bass side of this. This is where it gets strange. On the clean channels, probably usable. I'm sure somebody could find a use for this on a distortion channel. However, I cannot. It's just such an odd tone. I hope you can hear what I hear. Here, check this out. Do you hear that? It's like it's got a growl. I mean, it's cool. The tone is cool, but it's got like a muted growl. Listen. It's got a... It's kind of like you're taking the guitar and you're sticking an AM radio in it. And you're playing an FM signal across an AM radio. That's the only way I can possibly explain this sound. It is just beyond bizarre. I've never heard these tones before, so I don't know how to react to these tones. And it gets weirder. We're going to go up to position number 5, which is off, on, bass side. It just keeps getting stranger. I don't know what to do with that. It's such a bizarre sound coming out of a guitar. I'm a little bumfuddled by this tone. Do you hear how round that is? I mean, it's just super round. And it's got that on top of it. I'm completely at a loss for these sounds. I don't know what to do with them. And again, it keeps getting weirder. When you think the sounds couldn't get any stranger, you go to position 3. Here we go. Hear the growl. It almost sounds like you've got a wah pedal turned on in the hill position. Listen. It almost sounds like a wah pedal in the hill position, or an FM signal being played through an AM radio. I don't know how else to explain this. I'm having such a hard time wrapping my brain around these tones. I don't even know what I would use these tones for. Now, I know somebody will get this guitar, and hopefully they get in the Caribbean island. It's a badass color, man. And somebody will figure out something to do with these tones. Like I said, however, I'm not that guy, you know. The next buckethead may be watching this thing and go, holy shit, the things I can do with that tone. And if somebody has one of these guitars and you do know what to do with that tone, send it to me. Email me, drop me a line. You can get my email off my YouTube channel. I'm dying to hear somebody do something with these tones because they're so bizarre to me. They're weird. I don't know what to do with that. I really don't. What I do love about this guitar, however, is I've yet to use that switch. Because in the first position, with this in position 1, you have on. Second position, on, off, on. Third position, on. Fourth position, off, on, off. Fifth position, off, on. These 5 sounds, just by leaving this down, covers probably 99% of everything I play in my band, which I find amazing. And even when we were doing Roxanne, I just went to position number 2, because I still have that thinness from the back with a touch more girth from the front. Granted, I could just flip that up and just play this coil, but I don't need to on this guitar, and I love that. On the RG5320, I have to do that. Now, like I said, is that a deal breaker? Absolutely not. That is not a deal breaker. But I do think it's just better wiring positioning on this guitar than on the 5320. And that's a hard thing for me to say because the 5320 is simply an outstanding freaking guitar. It is amazing. So, but on that note, let's get back to the fun part that I like to get into. Well, how does this sustain? If you've watched my videos, you've heard my argument. And of course, that's an argument that I mostly get from Les Paul players, where everybody knows that a long guitar sustains good is a guitar with a fixed bridge. I don't know if I've told this story, but I'm going to tell this real quick before I get onto this. When I was living in Alabama, I went to the Guitar Center there, which was about the size of my living room, and they had a Les Paul hanging on the wall with a trim system on it. Been there a year and a half. The guitar was $4,999. I was not paying $4,999 for that Les Paul guitar. However, I would have paid $3,500 for that guitar. That guitar sat on that wall for a year and a half. And I asked the guy, why is that guitar here? He said it was a mistake. It was not supposed to show up. We've got it discounted down a full $1,000 right now because it sat here for so long. I said, tell you what, when it's $3,500, I'm a buyer. This was the guy that worked there. He said, why would you buy this guitar? It has a Floyd Rose on it. Besides the fact I just wanted to punch him at that very moment. And of course, that just, why would you say that to me? Because everybody knows a Les Paul sustains better with a hardtail. I get so tired of hearing that argument. If you're a Les Paul player and you're watching this, God bless you. Play your Les Pauls. They're great guitars. But don't ever tell me these guitars don't sustain. This guitar sustains for days. One of the things I like to do is play a little Whitesnake. I played it in the other video. A little Whitesnake is this love. Because if your guitar sustains through those incredibly long held notes, then damn it, your guitar sustains extremely well. This thing sustains forever. It simply doesn't stop. The sustain on this particular guitar, it actually sustains better than my 5320, which sustained brilliantly. This guitar actually sustains as well as my 1996 EVH Wolfgang, which is the best sustaining damn guitar I got, even better than my Les Pauls. And this one will match it note for note, and I find this to be insane. That was not a good run. Kind of blew that one right there at the end. The sustain on this thing is just phenomenal. It's actually better than my RG 5320. Like I said, this has to be a Monday guitar because this guitar, besides the nut being a touch too high, which most people will not care about, it is a personal thing with me. I am doing a video on how to adjust this nut. I did the videos on all the guitar setup stuff. The one thing I did not touch was the nut part of it. So I'm gonna get into the nuts now later after I do. Get off me, freaking frack. God, I hate cables. I hate cables. That's why I play with a wireless, man. This thing is just absolutely brilliant. The sustain and the tone of this. The front pickup, which if you've seen the 5320, I mean, they're just so buttery and they're so pronounced. And they're just... God, that sounds good. And the back pickup is just as gnarly and nasty as the front. Volume. Now, I use a tremendous amount of gain, so you're going to hear some extraneous noise from my guitar, because I do like very high gain channels. I like my shit constantly on the verge of feeding back. So that does add to a little bit of sustain. But even on the clean channels, this thing will sustain freaking forever. Now, granted, you're not going to be able to hear the sustain on the clean channel, but, you know. Just stopped. That is amazing. On a clean channel, that is amazing. I have got the action set on this. I did have to go in, do some adjustment here. I couldn't adjust this, that's coming. I did have to do a bit of work on the truss rod to get it where I've got it. I have got the low E side and the high E side. I got both of them sitting at 3/64, which is like the place to be for overall. If your guitar plays great at 3/64, then your guitar is set up fantastically. I can actually pull this down to 2/64 and make it faster. The only reason I'm not doing that is because when you go on big bends, the string above it will have a tendency to roll under your finger and you end up sounding both of them off, which sounds very cool. Do not get me wrong, but you just don't want to do it all the time to get more of a sound. And it does sound cool, but it's not something you want all the time. Moving on, let's get rid of some of the lane stuff on it. Another good thing that I like about this Tremolo, no flutter. I love that. There's no flutter, because a lot of times when I play, I do. Actually, you don't have to say I do. You can actually just say I do. And, you know, I'll make these little quick, little dips. And on my 5320, if I tap the bar, it causes it to flutter. And it doesn't sound good on my playing style. And I know a lot of people do like to flutter and rock on. Rock that flutter, rock it till its balls fall off. I personally do not like it. Real quick, the trim system, again, this trim system is dead balls stable. It does not falter, and I have weld on this thing. You know, we come out still of the night, coming to the end. I love that growl. And it comes right back into tune every time. We do a little bit of, don't tell me you love me, don't tell me, who sings that? Don't tell me you love me. Night Ranger, when we go into the solo with Night Ranger, you know. Have all these dives and dips, you know, and every song, even if the song doesn't require the use of a trim, I still use a trim on it. I like my trim. I have beat the hell out of that one on my 1070 PBZ, and it has not let me down yet. I have weld a 4-hour show straight with this trim. It has not let me down yet. And I even do the Nita Strauss shit, man. I even do that crap on it. So if you're buying this guitar, because I've had a lot of people ask me, how does this stack up to the Low Pro? Is it the Low Pro? No. I do like the functionality of this better because of the 0-point system, but this thing is dead ball stable. I've had 0 issues out of this, and I've beat the living hell out of the one on my S series. So, with that being said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I know this was a crazy long video. I don't even know how long this has been going on because I lost track of time back in about 1986. So, as always, we're going to cover the high parts of this guitar. This is the RG1120PBZ. This is the Indonesian-made one. I think I got extremely lucky and got a Monday guitar because this thing fucking rocks. It's the 5320, but different. That makes no sense, but I don't know how to explain it. Like I said, it's two incredibly similar guitars with two different flavors, and I love that. I absolutely love that. So to recap everything, this does have a poplar top. That's what you're looking at here. This is the cap sitting on top of a basswood body. This color is Caribbean Island. It does come in a popular brown also. Maybe it's a burl brown. I gotta be honest, I don't know. I've never seen one. Which is actually a very good looking guitar. The guitar I was going after. Now that I've got this, I'm kind of digging it though. This is the Caribbean Islet. It's not as metal looking as the 5320, but I still got the metal body on it with a little bit of Jimmy Buffett added in. So I got me a metal Jimmy Buffett guitar. Like I said, something I never thought I would say in my life. Metal Jimmy Buffett guitar. But it does have the amazing DiMarzio Fusion Edge pickups on them, which are, oh my God, they're just incredible. This has the Wizard neck. It's 15.7 degree radius. Actually, it's 15.75, but even though I got 15.7, it's 15.75. This does have the amazing and beautifully gorgeous Jeskar EVO gold frets, which I am seriously digging. Neck is maple, walnut, purple heart. You shouldn't have any problems with it. It should be very, very strong. It does not have locking tuners. We do have a matching top to match the body, book match sides, which is fantastic. Satin neck, satin on the back end, satin finish on the front end. And I'm kind of digging it, to be honest with you. Got the volume knob out of the way. One of the greatest things in the world. And as much as it pains me to say this, because I love my Eddie Van Halen guitars, I love them, I love them, I love them, and I will love them till the day I die, I may start playing this guitar a little more in my shows. Because the Eddie Van Halen, it does have this out of the way. But it's also got that sharp binding on it, which after 4 hours, man, just beats the hell out of my forearm. And the tonal characteristics of this guitar, the tonal variety is just simply stellar on this guitar, and I do mean stellar. It's got the 0.0H2 system on it. It's got the 0H2 bridge. It's got the 0.0 system on the back, which is fantastic. I love Ibanez did that. I do wish they'd put locking tuners on it, locking nut, full free floating trim system. The guitar is brilliant. It's an amazing guitar. Okay, now to the nuts and bolts, and then let's wrap this up. Would I buy this? Okay, with money being no object, would I buy this over the 5320? I don't know. The 5320 is because I love that metal tone, a little bit more modern that it has with the mahogany, and I love mahogany. I like that scooped sound and that warmth that comes with it. They both have great appointments, but I honestly think this has a few better appointments on it. I do wish this was a low pro, but a low pro with the 0-point system. I love the fact that they took the tone knob off and just put the volume knob on here. I absolutely love that. For right now, the basswood does suit my purposes a little better. If I put the 5320 at a 100 tone level, I'm going to put this at a 98 tone level. I do think the 5320 sounds a touch better. It's a little smoother. It's a little warmer. Contribute that to the mahogany. Because, they're both ceramic pickups and they're hotter than fire. But this is a little brighter and a little punchier, which works better for me. It's $600 less. The switching system and the down position is absolute blah blah. The switching system and the down position is absolutely amazing. That I do like better than on this than I do what's on the 5320. I don't even mess with this button anymore. And of course I like having it there if I do need it. Besides those 3 weirdo sounds that I don't know what to do with. But the 2 single coil sounds are brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Except it's kind of an odd configuration on these, how they've got this set up when you turn them on. $600 less. Volume knob out of the way. First position on the splitter is just worlds better because the 5320 is a 3 position. This is a 5. I gotta be honest, that would be a hard one to call with. I think I would probably lean towards this guitar, but you have to remember, this guitar is Indonesian. Chances are, if you buy Prestige, you're going to get a pretty good guitar 8 out of 10 times. On a premium, I'm going to say you're going to get a really good guitar 4 out of 10 times. On my Prestige, I had to do nowhere near the setup on that I had to do on this. I am going to have to go in and file this nut. I do not have a choice. I am going to be doing a video on that. So I'm going to wrap it up right there. It's a great guitar. Is it worth $1,400? It's worth every damn penny of $1,400. And actually, now that I've got it and played it, hell, I'd have probably given them $1,600 for the damn thing. But nobody said to Ibanez, because do not raise the price of the guitar. $1,400 for this guitar is a steal, an absolute steal. And in a world where there's no steals left, and gas is freaking skyrocketing, and the price of everything is going up, grab this damn guitar. It's $13.99. Get it now, because I promise you, next year it's going to be $14.99, if not $15.99. Get your hands on one if you can find one. This guitar is simply amazing. If you have any comments, put it down in the comments section. If you have any questions, put it down in the comments section. Please subscribe to my channel. I know this was a very long video. I had a lot of shit to cover on this guitar with 10 different sounds. Let me know what you think. And like I said, please, any comments, put in the comment, and please make them public so that, because a lot of times I get comments, and when I go to reply, they're not on the YouTube channel. They're coming through on a private message, and I want everybody to be able to see the comments, because like me, when I watch a video, I go through and read the comments, because I learn a lot of what other people think about it through the comments. So if you do leave a comment, or if you send or have a question or something, please make it public. If you do have a question, I will respond to it as soon as I can. Usually I get to them within about a day or so. So, on that note, I used to say grab your guitar, but now I say whatever you are playing, because when I get back into theory, I'm going to be teaching theory on a piano, because it's easier to understand for guitar players. So whatever your instrument is, grab that instrument, play it to its fullest, play it to your best, and rock on.